Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections here for Wednesday, February 12th. Before we get into today's play of the day, a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a loss with the Celtics money line at plus 108 on DraftKings. Celtics were up at the half. It was a 2-point game with about 7 minutes to go, and then the Rockets just kicked it into another gear. Ton of free throws in the fourth quarter. For both teams, but Harden got fouled on a couple of threes. Westbrook got fouled a couple of times. Fourth quarter turned out to absolutely just explode in terms of point production. I'm pretty sure there were 70-something plus points in that quarter. Yeah, you had 72 points in the fourth quarter, and Houston ended up winning that game by 11. Bit unfortunate, but Boston was on a 7-game winning streak, and we weren't really sure what to expect from Houston. Houston answered all the questions. Harden and Westbrook were fantastic, and they ended up getting themselves a much-needed home win. But on Wednesday, we're going to be going back to the NBA. This is an interesting day for a decent amount of teams, as it will be their last game before the All-Star break. You have 2 games tomorrow before the official All-Star weekend kicks off, but since there are only 4 teams playing tomorrow, it's pretty much All-Star break time for the majority of the league. And we're going to be looking at a matchup in the NBA between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies. That's going to be taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the play of the day is going to be on the Memphis Grizzlies minus 3.5, which is available on FanDuel at minus 110. Now, the main reasons why we like the Grizzlies in the spot, first of all, so far this season in terms of record, I know Portland started off the year terribly. Memphis has been a lot better than Portland in terms of just overall record as well as their performance at home. Portland is still 5 games under, but they are 9 games under 500 on the road, as they are 10-19. Whereas Memphis is 1 game over 500, but they are 15-13 at home, so they have looked good at home so far this season. Plus, Memphis has also won 3 of its last 4 games. They have been playing pretty solid basketball, whereas Portland has lost 2 of its last 3. In addition, Memphis also has played each of their last 3 games on the road, and they have not played a home game in a week. So they're finally returning to Memphis. I expect a pretty solid home crowd in the final game before the All-Star break. I think Memphis should come out very motivated and primed to put in a solid performance. Plus, one of the teams that played yesterday was Portland, and they just pretty much got run off the floor by the Pelicans. I mentioned that game in a lean as I liked the over because the line didn't make any sense at 240. Game flew over, went to roughly 255, but Portland got smacked. They lost by 21 points on the road, and the Pelicans play a very up-tempo style of offense, so they had to go up and down the court for roughly 48 minutes. I know Lillard and McCollum only played about 30, but for 30 minutes they had to go up and down the court just sprinting, and now they have to play the second end of a back-to-back on the road, and they're playing against another team that likes to play with a lot of pace. I just think Portland's going to run out of gas at some point. If you look at the actual numbers here for the Trailblazers, they're giving up 115.3 points per game, and even though they did beat the Heat on the 9th, still a little bit concerned here based on the fact that they had to play on the road in New Orleans. Now they're traveling to Memphis. They played an up-tempo team yesterday, playing another up-tempo team again, and Memphis has been very solid at home, where Portland has been abysmal on the road. I just think it's a bad spot. I know money has come in on Memphis. This line opened up at minus 3, and it has been bet up to 3.5 or even 4 in some spots. But overall, I think this game will be close for about a half or 3/4 or so, but I think Memphis will be able to stretch the game open in the fourth, as Portland will run out of gas late in the game. The issue I have with Portland is pretty self-explanatory. Damian Lillard is so good that if he has a somewhat off game, then Portland pretty much has no chance of winning. We saw that yesterday. I know Drew Holiday has gotten the better of Lillard over the last couple of years in the head-to-head matchups, but Lillard was 6 of 16 from the floor, and Portland lost by 21. The issue that you have is that New Orleans doesn't exactly have a defensive stopper that is going to be capable of completely shutting down Lillard like a Drew Holiday, so to speak. But the issue is that if Lillard does not drop 35 to 40 in any given game, I'm not really sure how Portland's supposed to win. He's taken on such a burden with that team that I just don't trust the team as a whole to come through, especially on the second end of a back-to-back. Portland could easily just roll over for this game. They got smacked last night. It's their last game before the All-Star break. Some people are looking forward to the vacation for a couple days. It wouldn't surprise me to see Portland just mail it in and just, head into the break. But overall, I think there's value with the Grizzlies here. So the play of the day, once again, will be on the Memphis Grizzlies at minus 3.5, and that one is available on FanDuel at minus 110, and that will be the play of the day. Now, sticking with the NBA card, there's been a lot of line movements in terms of totals. You had the Detroit and Orlando game go from 204 to roughly 207.5. I don't really have any thoughts on that one. In today's NBA, you probably have to blindly bet the over, but Detroit's offense has been so abysmal lately that I don't really trust them. I mean, I don't know how you score 76 points against the Hornets in their last game. Don't really know how that works, but either or, I would lean to the over very hesitantly. So I'm not going to have a play on it personally, but I would lean to the over. Other than that, what else do I like? I'm going to lean to Toronto, minus the 3.5 against the Nets. I know Brooklyn has played a little bit better lately, as they got a very exciting win against the Pacers in their last game, in which Spencer Dinwiddie hit the game winner. But, I mean, Toronto's won 15 straight, and Toronto's won each of the first 3 games that they've played against the Nets this season. I know the last one was by 1 point, and that was about a week ago, but you also had Karis LeVert drop about 37, and as a Nets fan, I'll tell you that is definitely not sustainable. Toronto, I think, is still somehow the most underrated team in the entire league, and I mean, they're just so good, Toronto. There's really no way to describe it. They lose Kawhi, but if you look at all the other players they have on the roster, they're just so much deeper than Brooklyn, especially on the bench. I'm just concerned with the Nets' ability to keep this game close. I mean, if the Nets are going to win this game, they need Dinwiddie to probably drop about 25 to 30. You need LeVert to have another huge game. I don't see both those things happening. I think Toronto will be able to win this game by at least 5, lean to the Raptors on that one. Other than that, looking at the rest of the NBA, I'm going to pass on the Timberwolves game today. I know money has come in on the over. It's gone up roughly 3 points, but I just don't like Charlotte's offense. Their offense is a disaster. I know Minnesota's defense is terrible as well, but this total's just really high. Now, I know Minnesota's been playing some very high-scoring games lately, and we end up cashing it over on their last game, but something about just Charlotte's offense just isn't good, and I think this total's a bit too high for Charlotte's offense to be participating in. I think if this game's going to go over, I think Minnesota needs to score roughly 120-something points, so I'm a little bit skeptical. I don't really have any thoughts on that. Other than that, I'm going to lean to the under 217.5 between the Heat and the Jazz. Line opened up at 219.5, going down to 217.5. Both teams are solid defensively. I mean, you have Gobert and Adebayo are very solid rim protectors. I think this game will be low scoring, lean to the under in that one. Now, switching gears to college, I'm going to lean to Georgia minus 2.5 here. This line I just find a bit interesting. South Carolina has not been great on the road. Georgia's been awful in conference play, but yet they're laying 2.5 here. So the line looks a little bit sketchy. I think Georgia should win this game. And they're also going to have the best player on the fourth, Anthony Edwards, lean to Georgia on that one. Other than that, what else do I like? Well, I was going to lean to the over in the Alabama-Auburn game, but that line's gone from 154 to 160.5. So I'm going to have to pass on that one. That line's just really high. It makes sense because Alabama loves to play at a fast pace. Auburn likes to play at a fast pace. But overall, I think that total is a little bit too high right now. Small lean to the under. Am I going to bet it? No. But I definitely think that 6 points is a little bit too high for this line movement on the total. You could probably wait before tip. This line should continue to go up, but I just think it's a little bit too high. I think this game will crash somewhere in the 150s. So I'll lean to the under on that one. Other than that, I'm going to lean to West Virginia, -1 against Kansas. Any trip to Morgantown's borderline impossible, and anytime you have the 14 seed favored over the 3 seed, I'll take the 14 seed. I mean, Kansas has been very solid this season, and I know that they're the second best team in the Big 12 behind Baylor, but West Virginia is always just a real pain to deal with at home, and I think you should see West Virginia come out extremely motivated to put in a solid performance in this game. West Virginia, as a whole, everyone knows them for being a very physical unit, as they have been in recent years. Defensively, this game should be pretty low scoring, but overall, West Virginia is averaging 3 more rebounds per game. I think they'll do a pretty good job on the glass. Kansas did win their last game against TCU in a game that totaled 106 points. And this game will be low scoring, but West Virginia is coming in off a loss against Oklahoma on the road. I think they'll be motivated for a bounce back here. Lean to West Virginia and the under 132.5 on that one. Other than that, lean to the over in the Citadel game. It's gone from 148 to 151. First meeting between these two teams totaled about 180-something points. I know Citadel's still playing at fast tempo, but they've been absolutely terrible this season in terms of offense. So I can understand why people might be skeptical of taking this over. But first matchup went over this total by about 30 points, 20-something points. I mean, the first half had about 98 points in it in the first meeting, so I'm going to have to lean to the over on that one. Other than that, though, not really a fan of anything else on the card. Don't have any thoughts on the Villanova game. That was interesting. But overall, play that day once again will be on the Memphis Grizzlies -3.5, which is available on FanDuel at -110. That's good for the installment of Scott Selections here for Wednesday, February 12th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.